Welcome back to Gun Tote Minnesota. Today I have a first look and a couple targets that we're going to review from this CZ457 setup, as well as my other 16.5-inch CZ457. One of the main differences between the rifles is actually going to be that I have this Pete's Pillars aftermarket barrel installed on this one. My original intention with getting this Pete's Pillars barrel was that I wanted another 16-inch because it suppresses so nicely. And I thought, hey, I'm going to buy like the cheapest 16-inch barrel I can get out there just for plinking and having fun. And hopefully, this was my desire, hopefully it keeps up with the factory barrel accuracy at least, because I was getting really good results with that, with a couple, maybe a few different kinds of ammo. That was my original intention. It's just suppressor host, something I can take on and off. And the 20-inch barrel I've had on here before with a target crown, it's just a varmint contour, that barrel shot really nice. Not as good as some other aftermarket barrels that I know of, but it shot really nice. So I wasn't complaining about the rifle. I didn't have this immediate need to upgrade per se, but I was just so curious what this barrel would do. So I actually purchased the 16.5-inch barrel from Pete's Pillars, and he gave me a call and we talked a little bit about performance and what I might be able to expect. And he's just interested generally to hear some of my thoughts and my experiences. Seemed like a decent fellow, and put all his cards on the table very quickly. So kudos to Pete's Pillars for just being an honest and upright guy who's trying to make something for different levels of shooters and people maybe that just can't find anything else right now. In fact, this is one of the only barrels in stock anywhere that I could find. So like I said, I have two 16-inch barreled CZs. I have one with the factory barrel that's done really, really well, 16.5 inches, whatever it is. Done really, really well. Same chassis, same trigger, very similar pistol grip. Anarchy Outdoors provided these to the channel. Thank you. Check out my links for Anarchy Outdoors. Both of them have Fab Defense stocks. Thank you to Fab Defense for providing these to the channel, and I like them a lot. This one's fixed and this one is a folder, but they're both, pretty tight, and I don't think there's any accuracy issues that are going to be induced from the minor differences here. I did have a 6-36 mounted on here as well, and I shot them both on 25 power. So I had the Zeiss LRP, Zeiss LRP 6-36, whatever they call that. This model, I had this mounted up as you see it here, and then I had an Element Theo 6-36 on here. I've got another rifle for a little bit, but both of them mounted up, very, very comparable. And the performance was good on both of them, but I did see a difference. And so I've only got about 200 rounds through this rifle. I've got thousands of rounds through this rifle, thousands and thousands. Just going to put that out there. So if anybody's confused, I'm not trying to say that that's a brand new rifle and it's a perfect comparison. My scientific controls here are not perfect. I'm just generally curious, and so that's what I'm doing. This is just a first look. It's not conclusive. I'm just showing you the results that I've had. So here's what I did. I did a warm-up group at 50 yards. This is with the stock barrel, the one that I just showed you. Stock barrel at 50 yards. Not amazing, but cold bore, okay? And actually, if I remember right, I think it was like this. Yeah, it must have been like this. So cold bore was down here, and the group, I don't know, warmed up, got back to where it's supposed to be. So there's 3, 4, 5. Other than the 5 down here, that very first one, I'm okay with this group up here. If I get in the neighborhood of ½ inch, I'm okay with it, because that's probably what I am as a shooter. I'm probably a 1 MOA shooter a lot of days, a little bit better with precision rifles generally, but with the 22 and the Wolf Match Extra, which I've been shooting, that's okay. I would prefer this one just to be up there, and then I would maybe not complain about it. But those were the first shots of the day at 50 yards, and then I went to 100 yards. And at 100 yards, here was my, it was like this. Here was my group. My first shot is a little high, and the rest of them are relatively close together at 100 yards, and they're under an inch. I think it's just barely under an inch for a 10-shot group. For me, my shooting, the conditions I was in, Wolf Match Extra, I'm fine with that at 100 yards. 10 shots being under an inch. Usually there's more flyers, to be honest with you, at 100 yards. With the wind conditions the way they are with changing weather. So there's the stock barrel group, 16-inch. Not great, but not terrible. So I'm going to put that together and say it passes. For my performance, for what I would do in NRL 22, I'd probably still hit my targets outside of that flyer down there. Then I did the exact same thing with the Pete's Pillars barrel. The Pete's Pillars barrel, right there. That's basically what I expect. I want to see that. There is one flyer. I don't know why that cold bore shot was down there. Kind of had a similar experience. So one down there, and then 4 just about in the same hole, a little under a 1/4 inch. So not bad. So overall, it's a passing group for me and my expectations with a barrel of this price point. But actually, I think the performance is usually a little better than this. Just showing you one group. Just pick the group and putting it out here. Check this out. That's at 100 yards. This is what has piqued my interest. It goes like this. This is what piqued my interest. That's actually a relatively tight group. I've got one flyer, and the rest are, man, what is that? I should actually go measure it. I never did measure it, just because it looks like it's about a 1/2 inch with the other 9 shots. And that's with the Pete's Pillars barrel. Same wind conditions, same weather, same sun. It was maybe just a couple minutes later after shooting the other group with that other rifle. I did this one second, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's a really, really, really respectable group for 10 shots. Now the question is, can the rifle repeat it? Is that a one-off? Was it a really good day? Was I just having a good moment? The ammo was just, getting the stars to align. We'll have to see. This is just a first look. I'm just showing you what my experience has been so far, and I picked one group, and generally, 15 shots per rifle to show you. What I'm going to do next is 5 targets at 50 yards, 5 targets at 100 yards, and hopefully, if I can get it on a non-windy day. We've been having horrible wind, and it's been really difficult to do. So I'm not sure I'll be able to provide that, but I'm going to do my best to get the controls to be relatively similar, shoot on a similar medication, to not cheat and give myself any advantages towards one or another, because I have no dog in this fight. If this barrel isn't as good as the factory barrel, I'll tell you. But so far, these results, if these are meaningful, if they represent the future, I'm going to say the Pete's Pillars barrel is superior. Now here's where my proviso comes in. I've shot a lot of CZ 457s. I've shot this trigger a lot. I've shot this action and the style, and I'm not the worst shooter. So if you go out there and you buy one of these and you install it wrong, or you don't put good ammo in your gun, or you're just not a consistent shooter, or you're shooting in wind in horrible conditions, I can't help you with that. Please don't buy a barrel and then come to my YouTube or comment on a video and say, well, mine does 3 inches at 100. You know what? I bet it's you. I bet there's some components that are you there. I'm so used to that with lots of barrels and rifles. You just have to factor in some of those conditions. If you're a newer shooter, maybe you're not going to be able to tell if it's an improvement or not just yet, because you need to work on your fundamentals. It could be that you just need a suppressor host like I did, and you want to trade a barrel out that was a varmint contour barrel and just had target crown. Well, here you go. Here's an option that is, as far as I'm aware, super affordable. And I'll tell you, if this barrel was absolute trash, I think I would have known by now. So I bet I'll be recommending this. I bet that it's going to be superior to the factory barrel. But even if it turns out that they're just really, really close, neck and neck, I'm okay with that too. I like it. So thanks for watching this video, but stay tuned because I do have more content to come specifically on these 2 CZ457s.